people to be vulnerable and to be honest, so that when we share and we're vulnerable and we see where our hang-ups are, where the things that we struggle with, then people can not only rally around us, but celebrate with the victories. Freshmen, you probably would remember this maybe more than the others because it was kind of aimed at you, but over the summer in the GroupMe chats, I posted a picture of Luke climbing up Mount Washington, stone by stone, and then he gets to the top, and I look at him, and if you don't know, Luke is my son, okay? And I said, do you want to stand? And I'll take a video of you at the top here, or do you want to sit? And he looks, and the wind is blowing. It was really cold. Mount Washington has like the most extreme weather on the planet, okay? And you can hear the wind, and I'm going, wow, this is cold. And he's really wobbly on his feet, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, do you want to stand, or should I just take it seated? And he says, you could barely hear it over the wind. He says, I want to stand. And I posted that picture, that whole video, and I said, for those of you who don't know Luke, this won't seem like much. Somebody's standing. But for you freshmen and those of you who don't know him, when you find out his story, and come fall, you'll know the story, you will realize what a big deal this moment is. You took the first picture. Gentlemen, that's Luke. That's my son. This was his South Hadley Tigers football shirt. At the time, he had just finished his cancer treatment for leukemia. He blew through it. No worries, no problems. Hardly had any side effects. Got out on the football field, was excited. We had a whole team of people. You remember that, Coach Mike?
Yeah.
Whole team come see him in a game, and he was playing safety, and he had a pass breakup, and everybody on the bleachers went crazy. All the Springfield College players went crazy, and I was in the back trying to hide the fact that I was crying, because sometimes with this stuff I cry. Okay, well, we're going to be vulnerable. And I'm so excited, and I thought all about his future. Look at his eyes, man. He didn't have any idea what was coming next. None. In life, you don't have any idea what's coming next sometimes. What do you see in his eyes? You see hope for the future. You see a kid who's wanted everything he can be. You see a kid who's proud to wear his football jersey. You see a kid who's got life ahead of him and just overcome cancer. When Luke was first diagnosed with leukemia, I got a call because my father researched this out and found it, because my father and I used to love a boxer named Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Does anyone know who Marvin Hagler is? Okay? If you want to see a brawl, you watch him fight Tommy the Hitman Hearns. The Hagler-Hearns fight is probably the greatest 3 rounds of boxing you'll ever see. And in the beginning, he gets dropped. He's cut, and even the announcers are going, I don't know if they're going to continue this fight. And Hagler realizes he's probably got another round before they stop this fight. And he comes with a blitz like you have never seen in your life. So all of a sudden, my father, I love this, used to watch it all the time as a kid. All of a sudden, I'm in my backyard when my son was first diagnosed. And I get a call, I answer the phone, and then the person says, hi, is this Ryan Bradley? I said, yes. This is Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And I went, no. And he went, no, it is. And I thought for a minute, I'm like, no. And he goes, I'm telling you, this is. And I started talking to him, and I brought up how much I loved that fight, and how I grew up watching that fight over and over again. I used to have it on the old VCR tapes. And his departing words for me, he said, Ryan, here's what I want you to tell your son, and here's what I want you to know. When life has you on the ropes, and your back is up against the ropes, just keep punching. I said, you hear me? I said, yes. When your back is against the ropes, just keep punching and see what happens. Man, I can't tell you how many times I had to rethink about those words. Can't tell you how many times, because I didn't know, nor did he know what was coming next, that I had to say to myself, just keep punching. That I had to say to Luke, just keep punching. Luke relapsed, and we went for a trial medication in Boston. And in that trial period, he contracted bacterial meningitis. I don't think I need to explain to you that bacterial meningitis, which is an infection in the brain, while you have no immune system at all and you're on chemotherapy for relapsed leukemia, is not a great match. This particular meningitis, is, along with leukemia, there's only been one other case ever reported. I mean, his odds weren't good at all. And my son went from that, and I want you to think about that video that I posted, put it in your head. Can you just put up this next one? Right here, video 2. Hopefully the volume works, because this was the video that I had to send to my wife. Go ahead.
And I watch Batman.
Say, I love you, Mom.
Love you.
And say we might even go out in a wheelchair today. Get some outside.
Leave my...
It's okay. And tell her, say, I have no fevers. Can you say, I have no fevers?
Oh, I have no fevers.
Then I'm getting better.
I'm getting better.
Okay, say, love you, Mom.
Love you.
Man, do you know what that moment did to me? It tore my heart right out of my chest. Right out of my chest. I haven't even been able to watch these videos. It's the first time I'm watching them. I just knew where they were. I took them. I tried once about 6 months ago to watch these videos, and I couldn't get through it. I can't tell you as a dad what it's like to look at your son like that. My heart just ripped out, and I had to ask a question as he's lying in bed. Is my son going to stand again? Will he ever be able to stand? And so our first shot at standing was this next video. Strapped to a bed. Lift it up.
Say, I'm standing up. Woo! Look at this kid. He's holding himself up great. Look at over here. Awesome, kid.
Here's my son's first chance at standing up. It's the first one. I had to say to him, just keep punching, kid. Your back's against the ropes, just keep punching. There's his back up against the ropes. Just keep punching. Got so bad, 9 neurosurgeries. Just keep punching, Luke. So now I got to ask myself, is he ever going to be able to stand when a bed isn't holding him up? Well, here's the next video.
Keep going, Mom.
Right there, he was going to fall. Watch what he does.
Squeeze your bum and straight. That was perfect.
Awesome, Luke.
Great.
Fight.
No.
Just keep punching, Luke. Just keep punching, because you know what? Then I got to, you didn't know you were watching film tonight, did you? Then I got to ask myself, is he ever going to be able to stand without somebody holding on to him? That's the next question I got to ask. And what do I get to say? Just keep punching, Luke. Go to the next video. Just keep punching, Luke. Is he ever going to be able to stand on his own, though, without parallel bars? I don't know. But you know what we got to do? We got to just keep punching. Gentlemen, I want to give you 4 types of people right now. And I want you to think about who you are. There are some people who won't stand even though they can because they're too lazy and it's too much effort and it's too much work and they'd rather just sit down through life. We're not going to talk about those type of people today. That's not the point of this speech. The second type of person was almost the person I was going to focus on for this whole speech. And I was going to call the speech, Stand Because You Can. Because there are some people who will stand because they can and they have an opportunity to. But as I was thinking about what this whole thing meant to me, I said, no, we got to go farther. If you want to be champions this year, and I'm not just talking about champions with a football trophy, if you want to be champions in life, see, you got to dig even deeper than I stand because you can. Because there's another type of person, an above average person, who says, I'm going to stand when I don't know if I can. I'm going to stand because I might be able to stand. Now that word might is pretty funny. Because just watch my body language and tell me the difference between these two. Oh, I might be able to. You know what comes at the end of that sentence? A question mark. You know what that question mark means? Doubt. And then there's another way of saying the exact same words, but just watch the body language. I might be able to stand. You hear the difference? I might be able to stand. I might be able to stand. See, that last one has an exclamation point at the end of it because it represents hope. Even though there's uncertainty, there's still hope. I might be able to stand. And then I thought, maybe that's what this speech would be about. But then, no, I think we got to go even one step deeper. We stand, and there are people, it's an extraordinary type of person who stands when they can't stand. They stand when they can't stand. Now, I know that's a logical fallacy. That's an impossibility. I know that sentence doesn't even make sense. But you know what? It makes sense to me. And the things that I've seen, it makes a lot of sense to me. That's an extraordinary type of person. Because men, to conquer the greatest obstacles in your life, you have to be willing to stand when you can't stand. And now look, I know I used to have a very common coaching phrase, you hear it all the time in coaches, that says, we don't say the word can't around here. How many people have heard people say to them, don't ever use the word can't? You know what? I used to use that word. I don't use that word so much anymore. I did it once just about a couple days ago when I caught myself. You know why I don't use it? Because when you're holding your son in your arms and he's bawling his eyes out because he can't play football, I am not going to look at him and say, yes you can, there's no such word as can't. Because he couldn't. There's people in this room who have just gotten injuries and are faced with the reality that they can't do something they love. And I'm not going to placate them and say, yes, you can. Because they can't. Not right now. Not in this moment. My son, right now, he cannot play football. And I'm not just going to tell him that he can. But men, there are certain types of people who will thrive in the can't. And they will find a way to stand when they can't stand. And you know how that happens? It happens incrementally. That's why I showed you one video after another video. At first it's, I can't stand, but I'll stand in a bed. Then it's, I can't stand, but I'll stand if I got a teammate or a therapist or somebody holding on to me. And you know what comes next? I can't stand, but I got these parallel bars that will help me. And it keeps working, and you stand when you can't stand because you find a way to stand. You grab teammates, you grab people that care about you, you grab therapists, you grab whoever you can to help you get your feet off the ground until one day you stand. So my speech to you today is not stand because you can, stand because you can't stand. Find a way to do it. Find your parallel bars, find your strapped on bed, find your therapist, find whoever it is that will help you stand when you can't stand. Because eventually, you will reach this next video. This is Mount Washington.
That's it, kid. Keep climbing. Keep climbing to the tops of Mount Washington. I love it, Luke. That's it, buddy. That's it. You can do it. Keep going, keep going. Give me a thumbs up. Turn around.
Hold the frame before you go to some. I paused it right here for a reason. I probably sound pretty confident and encouraging. You know what? I was scared as hell right there. Is he going to roll an ankle? Luke's unstable on his feet. Does that look like a very flat surface? I was petrified filming this. And I had to say to myself, as much as I said to Luke, just keep punching. Because you know what? It is not my job to rob him of the moment where his will and his spirit meets his opportunity. That is not my job as his dad to take that moment away from him, is it? So we kept going, and here's the last one. I don't have the right to take his moment to stand away from him because he's worked too hard for it. And this is the one that was on GroupMe. That's the wind. That's the wind, man. That's his face. Almost to the... Oh my gosh, is it cold? Definitely cold. Raise your hands. Give me a big woo. Take a look. Remember that picture I had you look at the beginning? Strapped up on a bed? You stand because you can't stand. Not because you can. Anybody can stand because they can. Not everybody can stand because they can't stand. And that will make all the difference in your life. The greatest of overcomers will find a way to do what they can't do, and it's not because can'ts don't exist. It's because their will and their spirit do exist. It's because miracles exist. To find a way to flip the script and take a, I might, and say, I might. To just keep punching and make your can't your I can.